Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Frank, who better to take us inside the FBI investigation right now than you? I mean, as you said it plainly in your piece, you'd be hard-pressed to find a Secret Service agent who would claim this assassination attempt on a presidential candidate was anything other than a failure. I mean, I don't know. You notate the Secret Service left the rooftop and the building from which the would-be assassin fired out of its rally security plan. The Secret Service delegated responsibility to local or state enforcement to secure that building. They failed to adequately secure it, obviously. There's a lot of wrinkles in this. We were going to. Oh, you also pointed out, I forgot about this. An officer reportedly climbed to the roof, encountered the shooter, and retreated. And that's when he took a shot at Trump. So just talk to us about where you think we are in this FBI investigation and what happened, Frank.
So there's really two components, right? You've got the FBI as the lead agency on the shooting itself. Who is this young man? How long has he been planning this? Is he part of a conspiracy? Is it domestic terrorism? Is it international terrorism, which is almost certainly not? What was the motive? Hundreds of interviews already conducted by the FBI of neighbors, witnesses, coworkers, classmates, witnesses on the scene there. All of that happening, some really neat stuff being done forensically. They finally got into his cell phone. That's the good news. The bad news, there's nothing. They're nowhere with regard to motive. Almost zero social media footprint. Very odd for a 20-year-old kid. So there's that. Then you've got the separate inquiry into what the hell happened in terms of creating this total failure. And, I remind people the Secret Service has a difficult mission. They describe their own language to use to describe their mission from their own website is zero fail.
Yeah.
Zero fail. Well, and that's a high bar. They get it right almost every single day, but that time they get it wrong, it's an international disaster.
Well, so I'm reading from the reporting. The FBI has identified the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20 years old, registered Republican. He was a gun nut. He was wearing pro-Second Amendment paraphernalia the same way MAGA Republicans do all the time. I mean, I have to wonder, too, we only remember the January 6th comment by Trump, take away the mags, they're not here to hurt me. I mean, I assume they figured, they're among their own, and this kind of thing would never happen, because as you say, it's just, how does a failure of this sort happen, of this magnitude?
Yeah, I think so. Here's what I think we're going to learn. This is based on my 25 years experience working alongside the Secret Service, even in my FBI career early, being the FBI's point person for a Democratic National Convention. So lots of partnership with Secret Service. But
right.
Here's what I think that part of the investigation is going to find. And they're going to find an agency stretched to the max that has been too thin and too light for years, likely not screaming loudly enough about that publicly, because that itself is a national security problem, that we have an agency who really is kind of patching things together with duct tape and glue.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? There's an over-reliance on local and state police. And so what we're learning now, even today, is that this building was part of the plan, was identified as a threat.
Of course.
And, we're going to keep it outside of our perimeter. You, local police, please take the building.
So a lot of people tweeted me, wanted me to ask you questions. David said a lot of this stuff simply doesn't make sense. Bystanders noticed the shooter crawling along the rooftop with a rifle, were yelling and gesturing toward him to the nearby police for at least a minute. According to reports, they themselves wondered why Trump was still talking. I mean, we've all, and again, we've had to say, look, let's not be crazy conspiracy theorists on our side, but you can forbid people for saying it looks staged, because you were like, what is going on? Why are they letting him stand up and do his fist and keep coming up and doing, why are they not, if they didn't know there was, the shooter was neutralized or there was a second shooter, it just, the whole thing looked bizarre to people. Yeah, that even the bystanders were like, there's that guy right there and nobody's doing anything.
As vehemently opposed to conspiracy theories as I am, and they're all over the place now, I do understand where some people are coming from. You've got such a colossal failure that you default to, my God, this can't be real. Right. Who can screw up that much?
Yeah.
And you made reference to the ungodly amount of time that the shooter could have been taken out before he fired a round, right?
Right.
And it's something like closer to 2 minutes between the first time the public points him out to police and the time that he takes a shot. That sniper that we see who ultimately got him, if comms had worked, and we don't know, but did the police officer who retreated off the roof, did he say, "I have contact, I have a shooter"? That should have been the signal, take this guy out. And that could have happened and didn't. And then let's not only talk about that, let's talk about the exposure of the protectee for an ungodly amount of time. For 10 seconds, that detail on him on the podium allows him to stand, head fully exposed, pump his fist.
Thank you.
Ask twice for his shoes. Secret Service agent retrieving his red MAGA hat for him. What? That is it. I counted at least 10 full seconds of exposure on the podium, standing up, when they don't even know if there's another shooter.
Thank you. That's exactly what struck me. And then they let him get back up out of the car. I'm like, what is going on? So, Frank, obviously, they're the ones saying, oh, let's not politicize this. Let's have unity. It's like, well, they were dying to hope this is someone from the left. Well, as Chris Wray has, testified and as FBI statistics show us, the vast majority of this fits the profile exactly. A young, white, disgruntled guy with right-wing ideology, and so now they want unity. But I'm curious, because this is what you study, is all the right-wing fever swamps and where do people get their motivation. So I was reading a Patriot Takes one. I just wanted to get your take on it. 5 months ago, Alex Jones and an InfoWars guest, Ivan somebody, discussed how assassinating Trump would be beneficial, according to them, because it would lead to retaliatory in-kind assassinations of the deep state list, which includes President Joe Biden. Ivan Raiklin said, if they assassinate Trump, option 2, behind Trump is going to be so much better for us and so much worse for them. Alex Jones, I was about to say, if they kill him, that's a best case scenario from a sick level. From a sick level, medium, oh, please kill him. I mean, it's so good after that. Raiklin, oh, it's going to be the best cleansing and the fastest cleansing we've ever seen in my lifetime, I guarantee. Access with almost certainty, with the highest level of confidence. If they assassinate Trump, it's game over for them. I mean, there has been, I heard someone on MSNBC this morning saying this is and again, Frank, I get it's all speculation at this point, but they're saying there is speculation that he wasn't right-wing enough for this shooter. That, so who knows, who's influenced by these lunatics like Alex Jones, right?
Look, social media is going to be the end of us. I'm increasingly convinced of that. And quite frankly, as reprehensible as the comments you just read, I've seen that clip with Alex Jones, and this will be the first time in my life I agree with Alex Jones. Yeah, it's sick. Yes, it's sick, and so is Alex Jones and his guest for even suggesting this. But I got to tell you, I also see on the left, Stephanie, on social media, I see this kind of rejection of fact, anything that doesn't fit the narrative. There's a lot of fear and trepidation out there. So I see people outright rejecting confirmed facts.
Right.
We're in a crazy, crazy place.
No, it really is. It's amazing, the whole blame game. I just wanted to get your take on this. So Fox News, Jeanine Pirro and Laura Ingraham slammed the female Secret Service agents who helped Trump.
God.
So they've turned this into, they blame DEI for this. Pirro and Ingraham suggested the female agents should not have been protecting Trump due to physical limitations relating to their height. And she took time out to compliment herself, Laura Ingraham. She said, Jeanine, you and I in our own way have been trailblazers in our fields, and we support women and all. Oh, my God. Frank, does height have anything to do with your ability to be a good FBI agent or Secret Service agent?
Yeah, so I want to say something on this. And by the way, I'm kind of ancient, but yet, the women in my class at the academy, they would not have been in the FBI if they couldn't do the job. Right. So there's no concessions made for them. The fitness test is what they need to do. We had to carry and drag each other all over the place, and and the smallest woman in the class was carrying me around through the woods. I was like, wow, this is great.
In her defense, can I say a lot of women would like to carry and drag?
Stop it! Stephanie Miller.
Am I lying? Is there a lie detected here? No.
Now you're embarrassed. Look, he's turning red.
Yeah.
Oh, he matches the skyline behind him. Pretty.
Yeah, thanks for that. Now I'm distracted. Yeah.
That's how I would get away with stuff. If you were the FBI agent at my door, I'd be like, ooh, so pretty.
With regard to the height issue, and I think it's a valid question when you have a very tall protectee.
Yeah.
I'm not certain that actually the women you see there are literally the people who are constantly on him. I think it's all pile on. Right? Well, everybody's got a job to do. And when your protectee goes down and you start shielding, it's everybody coming out there and doing that. The other thing is I've seen comments on some of these women, their weight.
Yeah.
Do people understand what they're carrying? They have heavy duty body armor on. You can clearly see it under their shirts.
Yeah.
Plus, let me add to that a very big, heavy radio. Let me add to that a big handgun and at least 2 magazines. Put that on and tell me what we'd all look like.
Oh, my God. Seriously, everything's a beauty pageant because it's Trump. Okay.
They were very pretty, though.
Oh, my God.
I mean, Frank, I assume, in your role formerly at the FBI, what you're now worried about. I mean, I'm sorry, this is not politicizing to say that President Biden has never incited violence a day in his life. Donald Trump does it pretty much daily. There is, when you go in the right-wing fever swamps, as FBI agents do, there are a lot of calls for retaliation. Right, against liberals, against Joe Biden. A Long Island County leader, an ally of Trump, is reportedly planning to recruit dozens of armed citizens to create a, quote, emergency special deputy force that can be mobilized whenever he needs it. He's the Republican executive of Nassau County. Once put out a call in March for about 75 recruits with gun permits. Separately said he aimed to create another layer of protection for Long Islanders. I mean, this is a concern now, isn't it?
Yeah, I was on a call over the weekend that the FBI did for members of the media who cover the FBI. The director was on, the attorney general was on, and the agent in charge out of Pittsburgh that's handling this case. And one of the things I took notes on was the FBI is concerned about what they're seeing in terms of violent rhetoric in those chat rooms that they're worried about, violent extremists. They were worried enough to even bring it up on the call with the media.
Yeah, yeah. I know, and you really can't write this stuff. That the vice presidential candidate directly put the blame on President Biden, which is irresponsible. It is inciting. And first of all, the guy that called Trump Hitler is saying it's Biden's rhetoric. And by the way, authoritarian is not name calling, Frank, when you have a Project 2025, which is an authoritarian playbook, and the president, former president saying he wants to be a dictator. Joe Biden is stating facts. He's not name calling. But I think you're right. It just creates a dangerous threat environment that people are literally on the right saying, "Oh, Biden ordered the hit." You have a sitting congressman saying,
Well, the other thing is, look, I know the Biden administration has suspended its advertising and its travel at least for a couple of days. Look, no, don't do that. Don't let this incident stop you from calling out the lies and what Trump has told us he's going to do. You don't need to make it up.
Right.
You don't need to fabricate it. Just playing clips of what he said, and then no one can say, "Oh, you're inciting violence." No, I just played a clip of what he said, and oh, by the way, I just printed the 2025, Project 2025. So don't tell me that I'm inciting anything. I'm just using your stuff, man.
Right. Well, it's like we keep saying, calling him Trump a convicted criminal is not name calling. It's stating
it's a fact.
Calling him an adjudicated rapist is stating a fact of law. But anyway, Frank, thank you so much. I know this is such a busy time. No one more we wanted to talk to this morning than you. Thank you so much.